Hey, so recently I was reading this Webhook blog post by Dodo Payments and it was really insightful. They explained how they are using different technologies, Sequin, Restate, Svix, Kafka to build a bulletproof Webhook delivery system. What struck me most wasn't just the tech stack but understanding why they made specific engineering decisions to solve real problems. Right, for the full understanding you can go through the blog post. In this video we will implement both their old architecture and new architecture and compare the results. I thought this was such a great learning opportunity that I decided to clone the problem statement and create the mini project to understand all the pieces. So let's dive in and understand how Dodo Payments solved this problem. First, let's understand the architecture. So this is the complete flow. Payment is created in our API. Database triggers automatically captures the event. Sequin performs data capture from Postgres. Kafka reliably streams event. Restate provide durable execution and Svix Cloud handles webhook delivery to merchants. The new architecture has 3 microservices in it. So before we proceed further, let's understand the 3 core services that make this work. Service 1 is the new API. Its main function is insert payment into database and let that trigger automatically create the domain event. The second service is a data service. Its main function is to query the latest payment state from the database at delivery time. Why separate? Because it ensures webhooks always send accurate current state, not stale snapshots. The third service is the Svix caller. So it is a durable webhook delivery system. So now since we know the architecture, now let's run some tests and have a live demonstration for the same. If you will go to the local setup.md, right, it will tell you how to set up the local account. Also, you have to go to the Svix and log in and get the auth token, right, that you need to add in the .env. I have already obtained the token and added in my .env. Now let's spin all the containers up. So I have also built the images with docker compose build command, right? Okay, so all the services are running. Now we can go to the our Sequin setup. So we will go to sequin setup.md, right? We can go to here. Let's open it in a new tab. Sequin setup. If in case the sequence slot is not created automatically by the init, you can use this command. So let me verify. Let's open a new tab and let's just verify. Okay, so it created, it wasn't created. Then we can set up the sequence and connect it with our database. So we will quickly open. So you remember like sequence is doing what? It's connecting to the database and it's also connecting to the Kafka. So we'll configure it both here, right? So let's open it. Let's get started. And where to get the configurations from? We can get the configuration from the here, right? So the default password is, let me type the default password. It would be up, keep me logged in, sign in. Now we will connect our database. So let's connect database, host, Postgres, database. Okay, so now let's connect our database. So our database has been connected successfully. Now let's create a sync, right? So what it would we add for a sync we need what? Kafka. So it would publish to Kafka, right? So go to the Kafka, create sync, configure tables, and we don't want to listen to all the tables. We just want to listen to our domain underscore events, right? If you have followed the architecture diagram, I have mentioned that we are publishing the insert SQL command is publishing to domain underscore event. So that is the table we are using, right? And now if we scroll down, um, we need to create a function also. So it will create a function to just extract the thing we want. So this is a transform function we need. So we'll create a new function. So our sync has been also created successfully. So now if I go to local setup.md, now we need to register our restate. So if you will go to the restate website, you will get they have their admin. They don't have an admin panel like Sequin, but in the script it covers the, it will go to the admin panel at a port and it will connect to it. So we will use that only. The you can go through the script in from the code base. So let me run the script. Cool. So it has successfully connected to uh, our Kafka, right? So restate is connected to Kafka. Kafka subscription created successfully. Handler Svix caller is registered. So Restate would actually call the Svix caller function. This we will cover more in detail when we will walk through the code walkthrough video. Okay, so this is a seed ID that we are using. We can use a random ID also, but then when we go to the Svix dashboard, right, then we need to again and again put a random ID. So I just thought to create a random ID and just seed it into it. So we are using a seed ID. So let me enter the merchant ID for the future context and enter this curl command. Okay. Also, meanwhile, I would like to open my Svix dashboard. Okay, so we are got here. So this is our merchant ID that we were using. So let's create a payment and test the workflow is working. So I will copy this curl command, Svix token. So I will deactivate this token after this video. So let's just get our token. So it's telling me that it already exists. So because I have already created this consumer application, if you go to consumer application, you can see this merchant ID, right? So for you, it would be created if you're running it first time. So I have already created the same merchant and I don't want to create multiple merchants. It would be messy. So that's why. So right now, if you can see in this merchant ID, there are only two payment success rate event that are created in 29 January and 30 January when I was testing. So today is 1 Feb. So let's create another a post payment request and we will you will see what we will get, right? So let's do this and it finally came. So this is the our new process. So this is the beauty with this new architecture system, that no webhooks would be completely wiped off from the system. They would be persisted. It might have some delay, but it might be in the restate queue, but they would be triggered, right? So that's the beauty of this architecture. It's reliable, it's scalable. These are the logs just for the confirmation. So this is not the correct order of the execution. So first the new API was executed, then the Sequin, then the Kafka, then restate, then Svix caller, and Svix caller called the data service for the confirmation of the payment, so that it's not a stale snapshot that we discussed earlier. And then it finally published it to the Svix cloud, where we got our webhook. This was the whole system. Now we will run the test scripts, right? Crash is the test that would make the pod, make the container kill for a while, and it would restart it. So in the old architecture, all the webhooks would be completely lost, but in the new architecture, the webhooks that weren't being delivered to the merchant will still be persisted, and the restate would automatically push them again, right? So if I run this script, build the container, so it's now restarting, and some webhooks haven't been delivered because the container is restarting, right? So let's wait. We will see more. 80, 20, 100. Yeah. And these were the previous ones. So all are webhooks successfully demonstrated, but let's also verify with the Docker commands what has happened exactly in the database. So yeah, at last from all the logs, we can see that 100 payments were present in the database, 100 domain events were created at the atomic trigger that was creating 100 processing events were there via restate logs, and 100 messages sent to the SVX successfully. And we can see in the dashboard also for the confirmation. So this was pretty much it, and this was actually a informative video to have a deep dive on the new architecture that Dodo Payment achieved, and it was a great learning opportunity to reproduce the architecture and run these scripts and understand what each piece of technology does. So it was new for me too, and yeah, as I said, it was good to learn. So yeah, in the next video we will see the code walkthrough of the three services in the Rust. So we are using XM library for that. It would be nothing brainy, but it's a good start if anyone is thinking to go with Rust, right? So yeah, let's meet in the next video in the code walkthrough one.